BYOT. Bring your own tacos.
Dick swinging.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty. What's up with these clowns, man? Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with
Alright, so I'm happy enough that I think I can just stop. I'm gonna stop social media altogether.
Really? That much? You're that happy?
I feel like
I'm pretty happy.
My life is complete.
Well, I mean, it is pretty cool when a snack that you've been snacking on since the teenage years plus. You know, like that go-to, one of those go-tos, I mean.
Makes you warm on the inside. We're talking about Steak-'em, people. We've been followed.
Hell yeah, we've been followed by Steak-'em. And as you know, we covered a little bit back, we covered the problem they're having with getting identified.
Verified on all the social media stuff.
Identified. Well, officially identified, that is, you know?
Right.
Like, the real Steak-'em company can't even get the verification that they're
credentials.
Yeah, which, I mean, is ridiculous. And that makes it an issue for people to follow them or even want to follow them because it's like, oh, is that one of those knockoff pages? You always come across those.
Who doesn't know Steak-'em?
Oh, man, I love me some Steak-'em. You know, it's the go-to as far as beef is concerned in the frozen section.
We're talking 2 M's because it's that fucking delicious. Now, we're not sponsored or anything. We're just fucking... I'm speechless. I'm so happy that we have this recognition. We reached out to them on various forums, just being like, "Hey, we're all about your fight to get verified. We're on your side. We're telling our listeners about you," and they know that we're on the side of the beef sheets.
They messaged us, and they're pretty chill, man, for a huge corporation like that. I mean, shit. You know, every now and again, I still get Steak-'ems. And fucking,
hell yeah.
I mean, you know why there's an in the name? Because it's dank.
Seriously. So and you know what? Hashtag verify Steak-'em. You know, you get out there,
again.
Try and get them verified. Follow them. I mean, we have a lot more followers than they do, so I'm hoping we can help them in that way.
Yeah. I'm hoping some of you guys get out there and actually take the time real quick. Just go on your Instagram, your whatever, and follow Steak-'em.
So that's at steak_UMM. So yeah, make sure you go fucking follow them. We're trying to push the word for Steak-'em, help out something that's helped us in our time of hunger, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Steak-'em's been there sometimes, you know, you gotta have the cheese throw on it, man. It makes it all that much better.
Again, this isn't advertising, but if Steak-'em wants to throw a little bit our way,
this kid, he reads my
we're
mind.
Even more for the fight.
Man, yeah, Steak-'em, you know, sponsor the show. That's what we want. We want a Steak-'em sponsorship. We're working towards that. You're listening. Come on. Let's make this happen. Let's step into the show. Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. And as always, I'm Matt.
And I'm your beefy co-host, Jesse.
Oh, man, he is beefy. Too beefy. He needs to calm down with the beef.
I put on a shirt earlier at the mall, and it was a muscle fit. But when I put it on, it just felt like a fat fit.
A sausage link casing. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. I was buttoned into that thing,
sometimes.
But it was flexy, so I couldn't even bust out of it. It was just gave with it.
Yeah, you're trying to pull the Chris Farley fat guy and a little cool.
Right?
Not even
Hulk out.
Oh man.
So before we get any further, we want to make sure that we give some thanks to our very supportive slackers over on our Patreon. First off is Dave Gunn.
Dave Gunn, we love you so much, dude. You're constantly fucking tuning into our live streams. You always listen. You're always giving us feedback. Thank you so much, man.
Next up is Seth Anders.
Oh, the Mad King. Thank you so much, dude. Another dude that always gives us feedback, and we hope you appreciate the bowl. You're enjoying it.
Yeah, big winner. Another group that we get some support from is the podcast called Crime Roulette, and that's hosted by Kyle, Noel, and Bradford. Bunch of funny guys. It's a podcast that I listen to every time they put out a new episode.
Yeah, a bunch of awesome dudes. And, you know, the crime podcasts, is like there's a ton of them. This is one worth checking out. I'm telling you right now. Like, these guys are awesome. They're great dudes and they're funny as shit. So check them out, and thank you so much, guys, for your support.
Last but definitely not least, Aaron W. from the Yes and I Am podcast. Another weekly listen for me.
Yeah, dude. He's awesome, and one of the most unique podcasts that we've like found and interacted with. I really enjoyed the show, and thank you so much, man.
So we also like to give out a little bit of love via Twitter. Anyone who tweets out our pinned tweet with our latest episode gets a chance to win a shout out on our most current episode. So this time around, Matt, we got 16 retweets. What's our magic number?
Ooh, baby. When you come to me with a number like that, I'm thinking one thing. It's Sweet 16, baby.
Okay.
You gotta go with it. That Sweet 16 is the only one you can choose.
The very last one is at Hop Nation USA. They've won before.
Oh, man.
They're very lucky in the sense that they get a lot of shout outs from us.
Yeah, I want to say they 3 or 4 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time that we've been doing this, it's definitely like 3.
Yeah, they're a good show though, so they definitely deserve this.
Yeah, and they're just 3 yinzers hell bent on saving the world from crappy beer, edutaining you on beers, breweries, beer events, and more. Listen Fridays and visit their website, hopnationusa.com. They're based out of Pittsburgh.
Hell yeah. An awesome show, worthy of checking out, people. So get at them.
Make sure you follow them at Hop Nation USA. Now, Matt, what do we got coming up in today's show?
Well, as always, we're going to start out with our bizarre news, and which one of the stories we're going to talk about gives a whole new meaning to the Karate Kid's swan kick. Then we're going to move to, we've got some suggestions for you guys for some good TV. A couple of series you can get your binge watch on. They're fucking awesome. Check it out. And 2 very different ones as well, so. And then we're going to finish it off. It's time to talk about some tech. We got some technology stories we're going to lay down on you folks, and we hope you appreciate it. So stick around. It's going to be a fun show.
All right, and before we get into any more of our bizarre news, we like to start out the weird news with a little bit of weed news. And we're headed over to Michigan, where they've approved marijuana legalization vote for November. It will be on the ballot, which is half the battle, getting it even to the ballot to be voted on by the people. Because that's how a lot of the legalization has gone through in states, with the exception of, I believe, Vermont and New Jersey are the only places that have gone through via representative pushing it through instead of relying on the actual vote of the people. Yes. So Michigan is going with the ballot route, and in November they are going to have the chance to vote on whether or not they want marijuana legalized in Michigan.
Yeah, which I could imagine we can expect to fly through. With seeing the nation at its all-time highest for approval rating of like legalizing marijuana in all of the surveys that have been taken and all that.
And they've already approved medical use back in actually 2008 with a 63 to 37% margin. So that's a pretty high margin for medical marijuana. So I wouldn't be surprised to see legalization go through as well.
Yeah.
They're also expected to generate over $7 million in sales once this does go through.
Easily, right? I mean, that's a pretty big state. I could imagine.
Oh no, did I say 7 million? I meant 700 million.
Okay, yeah, that makes a little more sense. I was like 7 million,
mistake.
man, with pot sales opening up, especially there's going to be a boom in the first few years because everybody's going to be like, holy shit, this is like, we're witnessing the prohibition of marijuana ending, Right.
Especially in that part of the country because it doesn't seem like there's too much. Like, Colorado's the closest thing, I would think.
Yeah, and Colorado really was like a flagstone in like the change of like all the states starting to fall like dominoes. Like, all right, it's time to
full
consider
legalization.
Look at their numbers. I mean, the tax money, the drop in violent crimes. There's too much to gain.
Yeah, and here's some of the proposals that would be on the ballot. It would legalize possession and sale of up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana for personal and recreational use. It would impose a 10% excise tax on marijuana sales at the retail level, as well as a 6% sales tax. And the estimated revenues from taxes are at least $100 million. Some of those revenues they would split those revenues with 35% going to K through 12 education, 35% to roads, 15% to communities that allow marijuana businesses in their borders, and 15% to counties where marijuana businesses are located.
This money's going to get spent on all kinds of great things, and it takes away the reliance on just the people paying high taxes to fund these things.
Right. And I'm sure
You know.
people would rather pay a little bit of tax on their weed than go the illegal route of sale and purchase.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, man. Me and you are New Yorkers. We grew up with, like, the whole criminalization of it. So, I mean, we have no problem. Like, we were...
Right.
No problem, 30% tax, fine. We understand.
Fuck it. I'd rather have that than
yeah.
waiting on someone else to come give me bud, you know?
Exactly, yeah, and that whole other game that we've experienced way too much in our age.
Terrible.
Yeah.
There's a bunch more stuff on the ballot. Like, it would restrict purchases of marijuana for recreational purposes to 2.5 ounces, but an individual could keep 10 ounces in their home. And it would set up 3 classes of growers, up to 100, 500, and 2,000 plants, depending on which license you're going for and how much you're growing.
Okay. 10 ounces is such an odd number for me. Like,
That's a lot of mud.
They don't want to give you a pound, but, like, all right, 10 ounces.
It seems a little arbitrary, but I was actually thinking when I was reading this that I'm really happy that the marijuana policies didn't go in some crazy other route where they were like 1 gram, you're allowed 1 gram, you know, because like that would, like, I could see someone being like, all right, we'll allow it, but only 1 gram at a time.
Yeah.
It's like, why do they need more? You know, it's like, dude, have you ever rolled a blunt? Like, so if you live in Michigan, hey, get out there and vote this November. Make sure you're registered. That's the only way to, you know, make a difference in this. It's great when it actually goes up to a ballot of the people.
Yeah, we're fucking relying on you, Michiganites.
And if you're interested in reading more about Michigan's legalization ballot, we'll be posting this up on our Facebook page on Monday, like we do every week with our weed article.
Awesome. Check it out, people. It's great to hear about, you know, a lot of these states are folding and they're changing their laws to finally allow people to consume, you know, and allow the ease of access to marijuana, which it should be, you know, when we're considered, you know, we're allowed a lot of things that are bad for us. You know, I don't want to go dig too deep into that. But the thing about this all coming and being easy to access, you got to be careful of where it goes. And our next news story is actually kind of a little flash of that. Now, we got a story about a middle schooler who decided to bring some Cheetos, but they weren't just normal Cheetos. And as of the Side Times article quoted it, they're not your grandfather's Cheetos. Because they happen to be Weedos. Now, high dosage of
Now,
THC.
does it have a picture of Chester Cheeto with his eyes just fucking blood red on the
I'm
front?
pissed, man, because I can't find it. I can't find these Weedos. But the thing of the story says that they're very close resemblance. So I'm imagining there's a knockoff of him, of Chester Cheeto, and
Dangerously lethargic.
you know, this middle. Oh man, yeah, just like chilling on a couch. Yeah, and this middle schooler brought these to school, you know, which, I mean, everybody has their different age of discovering drugs and alcohol and all that shit, and you know, nothing against that. So, like, but when you bring this into an element of people that have never had it, 3 students actually fell ill from this, you know, and kids that have never had THC had, you know, a Cheeto lace with the shit.
That's no good.
That takes you on a different journey. A lot of people I've talked to just, like, have told me the different comparison, and I have a weird reaction to it, and I've gotten onto it on the show and with Jesse and stuff, but, like, it's a totally different thing than just smoking weed. So I feel so bad for these young children, 15-year-old, you know, whatever they are, 14-year-old, fucking coming into this
Couldn't
dirty
handle their high.
Weedos. And the crazy thing is, this isn't the only instance that's, like, occurred. Back in November, they had an instance where a teacher was unknowingly dosed by a piece of a space cake.
Oh, shit.
And a student had, like, this crazy prank. And so, yeah, you gotta be careful, man. It's THC edibles, you know, they're slick. You know, you gotta be careful. You know, you think it's just a Cheeto, just a piece of cake. Fuck no, it's not.
Was that the same school?
This occurred in Menacee. And whereas this initial story called it occurred in Broward County Middle School in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this was actually a different school.
Now, when you eat Weedos, are your fingers orange or green at the end?
Well, I mean, I'd imagine they've got to encumber it with that orange. Otherwise, I mean, green ones, you'd have to, you might as well just go with a pickle flavored snack at that point.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the cannabis butter in the Weedos or something makes it green.
Yeah. Yeah, it only makes sense it would be green, right?
Well, I guess green, orange, no matter what color their hands ended up being, they were caught red-handed, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Another person caught red-handed was a man who robbed a Tim Hortons and tried to use a ferry as the getaway up in Halifax in Canada.
That seems like the most efficient way of a getaway.
It's not really a high-speed chase, that's for sure. Now, a man, as we said, around 6:45, robbed a Tim Hortons in Halifax, and he demanded money, and he had a gun. They gave him the money, and he soon departed the Tim Hortons for a ferry that was actually, it was headed to Halifax. So he must have been nearby Halifax, on the outskirts of Halifax. I'm not familiar too much with the area.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't expect
Yeah, I only know so much of Canada myself. So the man fled to the ferry and tried to blend in, This was his smooth getaway. He's like, they'll never catch me on the ferry. I'm just going to remove this fake mustache and take off the hat and just take off my federal body inspector t-shirt and
chuck it into the water.
Exactly.
Free.
And he would have got away with it too if it weren't for those pesky Halifax police who called the ferry and told it to turn around.
Oh, man.
They said, we know he's on there. You fucking get back here with him. They go, oh, sorry about that.
Sorry about that. I didn't know we were harboring a criminal here.
And they turned
We'll
around.
Bring him right back.
Now, the thing is, when they arrested him, he didn't have the gun.
Oh, I wonder where that went. That didn't go for a deep plunge into that cold, icy water.
One might suspect that it did, I would say. And I wonder if that's going to be... They can probably still identify him, I'm guessing, as you're the guy on the video. If they have,
because
a camera.
Even if it's facial recognition is hidden, I mean, it's size-wise, you can just match up the dude.
True. That's usually why they have those height measurements on the doors.
Yeah. Well, even in camera-wise, they'll be like, motherfucker, you fit the same bill as you. We know. Come on.
Those poor Tim Hortons employees and that poor ferry. Everyone on that ferry, man. You're fucking up the commute.
That's the most un-Canadian things you could do is fuck with Tim Hortons too. That's one thing that Canadians love is they love Tim Hortons.
We had a Tim Hortons at my school up near Canada.
Yeah. Oh, you did, right? They do cross the border?
Yeah, it was in upstate New York, and they had, it was kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts. They had macaroni and cheese though, and sandwiches that were pretty good. Pretty good coffee as well.
In case you're wondering where that random Canadian accent ever comes out on him, it's because he lived amongst them.
Don't give me that shit.
I can't help but do it.
Red-blooded American. I'll go Trevor.
He goes from one extreme to the other. Let's come back to America in this next story we got here. And I mean, what's more American than fucking practicing karate? I mean, I know it's not exactly karate is an American origin.
Karate.
God damn it. Fucking receiving a roundhouse with some fucking red, white, and blue pants isn't fucking American. Come on now.
Some Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah, and now that's exactly what we got going on is some Rex Kwon Do being practiced in Orlando, Florida at a nice little quiet park where a gentleman was observed practicing his karate and kicking some poor swans as well.
Oh, that's in poor taste.
Man. Yeah. I don't know, maybe he wanted to put up his art to the challenge and see if he could defend against these swans. But, I mean, when it came down to multiple witness reports to police, it said that these kicks were hard as possible and enough to knock these swans to the goddamn ground.
Quote, as hard as possible?
As hard as possible, quote.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Those poor fucking swans? Yeah, I guess they're not even geese. Geese are really aggressive. Swans, I don't know as much.
They're just they're peaceful, beautiful, and dainty, I feel like. They're just on their own. They're not going to fuck with you too much. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like they definitely would fuck with you just like a duck. But, actually, speaking of ducks, that's not where it ends. Because he actually even kicked a small duck that was sleeping.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, he just snuck up on a sleeping duck and gave it another kick because he thought he was just going ham. He thought he was the best,
fucking going around kicking ducks.
Man. Now,
Sleeping ducks at that.
this guy had the fucking Pump Up playlist playing on from the 80s with Eye of the Tiger, just pumping up, kicking swans, kicking ducks, kicking any type of poultry that just appeared in front of him.
Yo, he must have spotted that duck from mad far away and had like a running start on it, because I don't know how you sneak up on a duck, even if it's asleep. I feel like they're still pretty aware of their surroundings.
Yeah. When the fuck can you ever sneak up on any animals? They're so much more alert than humans in general. Like what the fuck?
It's relaxing over there. Well, they start, like, especially, they're not hard at the park. Those swans and those ducks, those aren't hard birds. They're not street
they're used
birds.
to people.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like they're used to people like feeding them bread, though. They're not used to people coming up and
Drop
fucking
kicking
delivering
them.
a fucking leg kick to the face, like type deal. Like it's like a leg kick to a human, but to a fucking poor little swan, it's like a straight up dome kick. Like that's a roundhouse.
Man's pulling fucking bicycle kicks on mallards. This is something you need to be put away for. These ducks are not your punching bags, sir.
We definitely don't support this, but I mean, we couldn't help but get a little chuckle out of this. This is ridiculous. What the fuck?
Just
man?
the image in my head.
34-year-old man. I mean, he's half a decade above us, man. I mean, can you imagine yourself in 6 years blasting some ducks, practicing
5
karate,
years
midlife
from now?
crisis, maybe? I don't know.
Is that where my life's headed?
Is this like? Can we consider this man's midlife crisis? I mean, some people get a Corvette. This guy decided he had to roundhouse some ducks and swans.
Well, it can't be midlife. He's going to live a lot longer than 70 with these master moves of karate that he's pulling off. No one will take him.
I mean, that is the one benefit. I mean, he was also reported as laughing really hard when he was carrying out these acts. So, I mean, they also say laughter, like, enables longer life. So, I mean,
Best medicine.
This crazy bastard's going to live longer than any of us. And,
He's exercising, kicking animals.
Who knew the true levity to like eternal life was just going out there being the biggest asshole you can be, whether it's to animals or people, just roundhousing people at the park. Maybe that's your thing,
See, the ducks can't press charges, but people can call the police on you on behalf of the ducks.
Yeah, maybe that's why he targeted them.
They needed a flock. That's what they needed, or maybe a just one giant duck to take him down.
One giant duck, the big duck.
There was a giant inflatable duck that broke loose from a duck derby in Iowa and started going down the road. Now, we've all seen these videos where giant inflatable things end up on the highway or end up on a local road of some sort. And this one's a giant duck with sunglasses.
Ah, man, at least it's a cool duck.
Yeah, he's definitely looking pretty cool. There's a little bit of video to go along with it of this suave duck fucking rolling down the street, and people are laughing, of course. There's cars that don't know what to do. They're kind of stuck behind it, trying to go around it without getting run over.
Now, how big of a duck are we talking? Like, are we talking like a 10-foot duck?
20-foot
duck?
It's gigantic. They don't have the measurements on it, but it's bigger than the cars. It's like maybe the size of 2 SUVs.
Damn, that is a pretty big duck.
That's a big duck.
That's
And these
a big
things,
duck.
they rarely cause any damage. They got it under control. But like I said, it came from a duck derby, which I'm not sure what a duck derby is. Are you aware of what a duck derby is?
Man, no, I'm not aware. We're
going to do a little bit of learning here.
This makes me think of this one question I actually saw pop up on social media, which was quite interesting. It was, would you rather face 20 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck in a fight?
What
It's
is
a
it
tough
again?
one, right? Now, would you rather fight 20 horses that were duck-sized or one duck that was horse-sized? It might have been like 50 horses that were duck-sized, actually, now that I think about it, because like that's pretty small. Like little horses.
I'm going to say one
gonna say 50.
horse-sized duck.
No, you're crazy, man.
It's one
That's
fight.
not the answer
it's
I
one,
chose.
It's one. You just get its neck. It's not like shaped
big
like
duck.
it's not shaped like a horse.
Have
you
you
can
seen
get
the
on
size
its
of a
back and
horse?
you could still take it.
I know, but when you take something and you make it bigger, that little flimsy duck leg becomes something gigantic, like a fucking horse leg.
But
So,
I
like,
could,
it's not like you
but I
just
could
go, like-
fling myself onto a horse if I needed to.
Dude, his beak is gonna become like 4 feet long. He would just like quack and just like swallow you whole. Like that would be it.
No, you got to be nimble. They're big and they're
Maybe 3
not
feet.
exactly like agile. They're not going to be able to pivot real quick. So you got to get around them, jump on its back, get the neck. It's still the same
Man.
premise as if you were going to kill a regular duck. You got to snap that neck. So you got to like underhook the beak and pull him back and maybe get a leg lock on the neck and just turn and fucking
Yeah. I feel like you're
snap
working
that
harder.
shit.
I don't know.
Otherwise,
man.
you're going to get trampled by 50 tiny horses.
I'm gonna step on those little horses. I'm just gonna take a little dancing jig and I'm gonna start snapping spines.
Just kicking
it's
like
nothing.
you're river dancing.
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna be snapping spines like they're wishbones on fucking Thanksgiving.
Just stomp, stomp, stomp. But you've seen
Fuck
compies. I mean, horses don't have like
True.
claws at least.
They don't, but I mean, if they were intending aggravation and assault, I mean, they could do some damage with those fucking giant square.
They just have
chompers they
to
got.
They'd have to do that thing, where you see them like jump up and kick. They'd have to do a couple like 180 jump kick
Oh
in
my
the
God.
balls, and like that you'd be down.
Synchronization?
And then they're just gonna fucking ground pound, Donkey Kong style.
I don't know, man. I'm still choosing the horses. I'm gonna say it. I'm choosing the horses.
All right, I'll fight a giant duck, and you'll fight 50 horses if it ever comes to it. I'm gonna be like, this is your fight.
Oh,
That's
man.
50 tiny horses, Matt. We've discussed.
Well, time will only tell which one we'll run into first, man.
Oh, by the way, rubber duck races, also known as duck derby races, have been used as a method of fundraising organizations worldwide. People donate money to organizations by sponsoring a duck, and then they race them. And, like, you win shit, I guess.
Okay.
So you buy, like, a duck for $1, and then if your duck wins, you get, like, a bouquet of chocolates.
So it's like a betting system on duck racing?
Yeah, for fundraising. And,
Okay.
yeah, their giant duck broke free, but, they caught it eventually. And no one had to snap
That's
its
good.
neck, luckily.
I'm glad they rounded this duck up. Nobody had to sneak up behind it as Jesse had planned out.
With a Bowie knife in the back. Pop that fucker.
Man, poor fucking ducks. These mallards, man. They're a pretty animal, but, fuck. It's a brutal takedown. Oh, man. Speaking of takedowns, we got an article bringing us to Amazon, which I know me and you both partake in. We're both Prime members. I mean,
That's where I
that
got my new
beautiful
equipment
backdrop.
for the
Yeah,
podcast.
and if you're not tuning into the live stream, you need to be. I know we're not too good on just generally picking time because we're really schedule-wise we're crammed, trying to do all the interviews and all this and that. But Jesse's got a beautiful fucking backdrop to bring it back, and he purchased it on Amazon. It's a pretty neat service. You
get a lot of
anything
cool
you want
stuff
these days, man. Anything. You can get your paper towels, your food if you want. If you want to go down that alley, I mean, any device, anything at all. And unfortunately, anything at all comes at anything at all. And I mean, one of the things that we found Amazon has recently taken down is a lining of clothing for babies that specifically ripped off Coca-Cola's emblem, and it said "Enjoy cocaine,"
Oh, okay.
which I
Some
found
partying babies.
Yeah, those babies are really they're busy babies. Cocaine just keeps going. As you can imagine, those babies were just constantly active, and they were a little aggressive too.
I would dress my baby in a enjoy cocaine.
I wouldn't recommend that.
onesie. I think
Wouldn't
it's
recommend
funny. That's hilarious.
Oh man, I just think you're opening yourself to a doorway of a bunch of people coming up to you and being like, "What is wrong with you? Do you need help?"
It'd
Do
be
you
like,
need
great,
somebody-"
okay, I know who not to be friends with. Who can't take a fucking joke. It's like,
I mean-
no, I'm putting Coke in its baby food. Like, first off,
don't
I
know,
can't
man.
afford that. Babies would be expensive enough already. Secondly,
I mean-
that's terrible for the baby's health.
I feel like I'm a pretty open person, but if I saw somebody out in their no matter what the parents look like, if they look like a nice young couple, and they heard their baby had an "Enjoy Cocaine" shirt on, I would be like dirtbags. I feel like I would just automatically be like, what the fuck is wrong with those people? That poor baby.
Now, where
know?
do you draw the line, though? Like, what for funny shirts for babies? Like, what if a baby was wearing a shirt that said mustache rides?
That's funny.
5 cents. Like,
That's funny. I know that baby's not giving mustache rides, but he can't produce a mustache.
but the baby's not doing coke either.
Well, who knows, man? Maybe these parents are like, hey, you got to start somewhere, and you're going to start young because we're going to have you ahead of the game. You're going to be one of those kids that gets grades.
So if the baby has a mustache and wears the mustache rides one, then you'd be concerned?
Okay, I would highly be concerned if a baby had enjoy cocaine and I get mustache rides on his shirt, because that's just too much going on for any baby.
I'm saying the baby has a mustache and is wearing the mustache ride shirts. Because then that's insinuating that maybe, like, because you said, like, I don't know that the baby doesn't do coke, but, like, it's not giving mustache rides. But if it has a mustache.
First, I check my clock to make sure it's not Halloween. It might be October 31st at that point. But after that, I just feel like, maybe these parents are people that I need to get to know, because that's pretty fucking funny. They got a good sense of humor. Maybe it's a bias. Maybe I have a biased opinion on it. I don't know. Cocaine's a hell of a drug, as I've been told by multiple people.
Now, what if a baby was wearing that shirt, had like a little Rick James on it, and it said cocaine's a hell of a drug?
Pretty good. I mean, I love the Chappelle Show. I love that line. I don't know. Maybe, that's a little more funny to me. But enjoy cocaine. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so you gotta really bring it if you're gonna do something outrageous on like your kid's onesie or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta bring it harder than you bring it on yourself, like with what you're wearing. For sure.
It's like, why is that cool ass baby hanging out with those nerds?
Your dick is the paintbrush. Your wife is the canvas. I mean, come on.
And you're creating art that you then put ironic T-shirts on.
Yeah, man. And irony can just go so wrong. I don't know. In my opinion.
Well, there's a lot of things that can go wrong when dealing with the internet. Could be Amazon purchases of enjoy cocaine, baby clothing. Could be Yelp reviews, like in our next story here, where a restaurant manager showed up at a woman's house at 10 p.m. after she posted a 3-star Yelp review.
Oh, man, it sounds like a similar story that's about to happen to that 4-star giving motherfucker for this show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You could give us 1 star.
I guess we're kidding.
All right, well, we're kind of kidding. We're not kidding.
We're going to get him!
Out who you were, we would
mind.
show up at your house. There's no way for us to find out, so you're safe.
So in this case, though, the manager of a pizza restaurant, is asked his delivery drivers, like, hey, can you ask people to review our service and our food on Yelp, when they drop off the food, which is probably a good idea. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it warranted a 3-star review because of a recently defrosted burger with no lettuce or tomato, soggy zeppoli, and sorry-looking steak fries. So, not fantastic, but not a 1-star, trying to be honest.
I don't know, man. That soggy zeppoli, that's pretty bad. I mean, I feel like she was being generous.
Yeah, maybe she was, even with like the way the food's, because that's like your whole meal right there. It's not like any of it. It wasn't like, but the saving grace was the fucking Parmesan garlic bread.
Yeah, shitty fries will really fuck up a meal. And I mean,
it's like it was edible. 3 stars.
Yeah. That's more gracious than I would have been if all the pieces of the meal were shitty.
Now this didn't sit too well with the manager, who then saw the 3-star review and showed up at her residence at 10 p.m. banging on the door. And then when she didn't answer, they called her number blowing up her phone that they had from the delivery.
Wait a minute. So what the fuck? Do all Yelp reviewers just like give out their number and address like it's nothing?
No, she got delivery.
Oh my god, so this is a total violation of like customer fucking agreement, basically. Yep. Like any customer agreement form, which is like unsaid when it comes to restaurants, like you can't violate that. You can't just show up for like fucking unrelated business to an order.
Yeah, and this is the manager too, so that's like absolutely outrageous.
Wow.
When she didn't answer her door, they blew up her phone. She didn't recognize the number, so she like let it go. And they left a message saying, "Hello, this is so-and-so, the manager of the pizza place. I'm outside your door and I want to speak with you about your Yelp review."
Man. Ugh. Oh, that's freaky, because you're dealing with somebody off balance right away. I mean, and showing up at your house late at night like that's freaky as fuck.
Yeah, and she got freaked out, like you said, understandably so. And she called the local police department. The cops came and took her statement. And
The woman was gone by then?
yeah, the manager wasn't there at that point. I guess they went away when she didn't answer and stuff. And that 3-star review ended up turning into a 1-star review after that shit.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, like, that place is going to suffer once this story makes it around.
Yeah, they didn't get too many other good Yelp reviews either. I guess the next day someone gave it a 2-star review, but they responded a lot better the next time and said, "Oh, we'd like to invite you back to make your meal again and treat you."
Oh, okay.
So I guess they're handling it a little bit better. But I don't know if I go back.
Maybe that manager's been removed from the whole scenario.
Quite possibly.
I don't know. Well, hopefully, I mean, imagine, that manager's not fit to be managing a restaurant if they're going to show up at every customer that gives them a non-perfect review.
Yeah, seriously.
3
That
stars
is not
bad.
cool.
Yeah, 3 stars not bad. I mean, we all jokes aside. I mean, we still appreciate the 4-star even.
Yeah.
Like with all the jokes we make. Like,
It's not a 3.
yeah, it's not a 3. Fuck
Then we'd
yeah.
have to show up at your house at 10 at night.
Yeah, man. Well, the restaurants are a common theme in this show when we find these bizarre news articles. And this next article, man, it cracks me up in so many ways. We're going to Staten Island at a Popeyes, where they're handing out $4 wicked good deals. And, the only unfortunate thing that happened for one lady is that it didn't come with a soda. It was just an order of chicken tenders, some sauce, and a biscuit. But this woman knows it had to come with a soda. I mean, what kind of meal doesn't come with a soda, right?
Well, the wicked good deal.
Oh man, $4. I mean, come on. In today's day, $4. I don't expect much, honestly. I mean, you can't get shit for $4.
Be happy with what you get.
Yeah. Well, this woman, she wasn't having it. She was just irate about it, and she decided to start ripping shit up. And one of the most ironic things about watching this video of this woman ripping this restaurant up, this poor Popeyes restaurant, this establishment, is that she starts with this sign, a pop-up cardboard cutout. And I can clearly see from the fucking video in the restaurant that this fucking cardboard cutout shows the meal she ordered with just chicken tenders, a sauce, and a biscuit, and no drink.
Oh shit.
For $4. And the whole reason she starts getting pissed is because she knows it comes with a drink. That's what she's telling.
Ma'am, if you'd calm down and take a look at the sign that you're about to throw.
Dude, she smashes the sign up, rips it up. But that's not good enough. Guess what she does after there is she grabs a chair and starts smashing a fucking window out. And she does. She demolishes this full plate glass window, fucking 10 foot tall, with a fucking chair from the auditorium, like the little area there.
She pulled a Conor McGregor.
Pulling a Connor, man. And yeah, just all because of a fucking drink. Like, you don't have another $1, $2 maybe. Now this woman obviously is gonna pay for this and some time in jail. Unfortunately. But you can't expect everything with those $4 deals. Everybody's got them.
Yo,
shit.
little tip. If you want the free drink, just get a cup for water and go get yourself a fucking soda.
Yeah, right? Like,
This
I see
could have been
people do
solved.
all this shit all the time, too. Yeah, man. Like, if you're that cheap, do that. Do that, Or go to Wendy's. I mean, I think their $4 meal comes with a drink. There you go.
Had to have the Popeyes. The people at Popeyes, when I went there the first time, were very nice to me. They threw an extra tender in for me. I said, hey, this is my
nice.
first time ever trying Popeyes. Is it good? What should I have?
Oh.
They pointed me to their sommelier, and they said, this red would go very nice with our spicy blackened chicken.
Oh, okay. You had a.
They're like, may I throw in an extra tender for you, sir?
Oh, they wanted to make that first visit a very special visit.
And then I said, motherfucker, I don't like red wine. I like white wine. And I threw a fucking sign through the fucking window.
Man.
Actually, I think that's proper etiquette at Popeyes.
Yeah, you just break the windows out, and that's it's like when you in some areas you would burp after you eat to show appreciation. It was a great meal.
At Popeyes, you throw chairs through windows.
Throw chairs through windows, and you're just showing them how much you really enjoyed your experience there at Popeyes. They have windows in the back. They're ready to pop
Louisiana
right in.
fast refers to the speed at which the chair flies through the window.
And the replacement of that window.
Yes, true, very true.
Yeah. So that the next customer can clearly just take that same chair and chuck it through the same window.
We got a really great funny clip of the week for you this week. We're talking nutshot. Not just a nutshot, but a slow-mo nutshot.
Very slow-mo, and it comes from the companion at your side of all times, your smartphone.
This guy is jumping on the trampoline, taking a selfie, as some may do, to, you want to get that really high angle or some cool, like, footage of you to fucking post up on Instagram. But what he doesn't realize is that his phone is going to become his worst enemy by the end of this clip.
I mean, it goes straight for the death shot.
He loses grip at the apex of the jump, and as he's falling back down, he's in a position so that his legs are open and his back is flat, and the phone just takes a nosedive straight for the nuts. It's quite hilarious. It's I'd say a work of art.
The way it perfectly falls, and it captures it all on the camera.
He tries to catch it.
Tries. He does not succeed.
Not at all. So we'll be sure to post this up on our Facebook page on Wednesday, like we do every Wednesday with our funny clip of the week. Just to make your midweek a little bit more funny.
Hell yeah. So check it out. And another thing we got for you to check out before we get into our next segment is a word from our good buddy Aaron at the Yes and I Am podcast.
Hi, do you like celebrities, comedy, and pop culture? Well, then I have the podcast for you. I'm Aaron Max, host of the Yes and I Am podcast, the podcast where we learn about people. Each week, we take comedians and improvisers and give them a celebrity to play, and I interview them. And guess what? Sometimes the comedians don't know who this celebrity is. And that's when the real fun comes in, and we learn a little something we didn't already know about these people. So go and check us out. We're on iTunes and all other podcast sources. We are Yes and I Am, and we will see you guys next time.
You get more out of life when you go out to a movie.
And we are back with some suggestions here for media for you to consume. Got a couple binge-worthy programs put on your radar.
Oh yeah. Here to consume your time. It's hard, man. You're always looking for something new to watch. Something that's just going to pique your interest.
Sometimes you're looking for that thing not so you don't waste time. We have suggestions that you can get right into and you're definitely going to enjoy it.
Hell yeah.
But before we give our suggestions, I just want to put it out there. We both saw Super Troopers 2.
Oh, man. Yeah, now it's not a TV suggestion, but goddamn is it a great movie suggestion. And, I mean, we've been fans of the Super Troopers saga for years upon years. So we were pretty hyped when they started, putting out these GoFundMe promos, to get going.
Right? That was a while ago.
Yeah, a few years ago, and man, it's great to see the movie finally come out, and it was pretty good.
Came out on 420, didn't get to see it on 420, but
yeah,
I got the chance to see it. You saw it earlier today. What did you think? Yeah. What was your overall opinion?
I liked it a lot. It wasn't as good as the first one, in my opinion. It was a totally different storyline, though. So, it's like, it's got its own thing, and, you got to see the first one to appreciate the second one with all the little jokes that relate to the first one.
A large liter of cola?
Yeah, my girlfriend never saw the first one, so it was like, you got to see the first one to really appreciate it.
I had the same situation. My girlfriend didn't see it either, and some of them went over her head, but she still enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, my girlfriend as well, yeah. It's a great film, you don't really have to see the first one, but it definitely makes a lot more sense if you do catch that first one.
It was really funny, though.
Great movie.
Definitely. Give it a go. And along with that, I'll give you another suggestion. I'm suggesting HBO's new show, Barry.
Man, and yeah, it's got me intrigued from what you've told me about it.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy television series written by Alec Berg and Bill Hader. They're both the executive producers as well of this show.
Awesome to see Bill Hader. Always.
And Alec Berg is a name you might not recognize. Some of you might, from some of the stuff that he's worked on in the past, though, which is quite a resume, I must say. He's written Barry, the show we're talking about now, Silicon Valley, Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's done some episodes and was an executive producer of. He was an executive producer on Seinfeld as well.
Okay.
So we're dealing with someone who's really, really good, you know?
Yeah.
Teamed up with Bill Hader as a writer as well. You can't go wrong. Bill Hader is also directing the show Barry as well as starring in it and writing it and executive producing it. He's all over this shit. So if you love Bill Hader, this is right up your alley. It's not the normal, like, outlandish kind of humor that you're used to, though. It's definitely a dark comedy, and it's about a Midwestern hitman who travels to Los Angeles to perform a hit and then finds himself joining an acting troupe.
Wow, yeah, what a contrast, man. Going from being, you know, in the aggressive field to just the drama field.
And yeah, it deals with a lot of interesting things like PTSD and ethics of killing. You know, it has interesting characters in it. Like there's a gangster who uses Bitmoji.
Oh man.
So like it leads to a lot of really funny, like LA kind of like tongue-in-cheek sort of things.
Yeah.
It stars Bill Hader as Barry Berkman / Barry Block. Barry Block is like his actor name, which he gets in, I believe, like the second or third episode. Henry Winkler, Sarah Goldberg, Stephen Root. You might remember Stephen Root from Dodgeball. He's been in a number of other things.
Yeah, dude, fucking Dodgeball, such a good movie. Oh
Henry Winkler, the Fonz. You know, you can't go wrong. And I'm already in about 5 episodes. There's about 3 more that are coming out for this season, and it's already been approved for a second season, which I'm really excited about.
Okay, that's awesome.
I want to see how they wrap up this one, and also how they kind of go into what the second season of Barry's life as a hitman / actor would be.
Yeah.
There's one funny exchange where he's talking to his handler, the guy that gives him the jobs, you know, and he says, you know, Barry, you can't go and try and take someone out. And they go, oh, you're the guy from the chicken commercial. And Bill Hader goes, I don't know if I do commercials.
Oh, man. Fucking love Hader.
The writing in it is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's definitely something worth checking out if you have HBO Go or anything along those lines. IMDb, it has an 8 out of 10. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 98% and an 86% audience score.
Okay.
So it's doing really well for itself. I mean, can't really go wrong with Bill Hader. He knows his shit. And Alec Berg, obviously, very well-renowned executive producer.
Yeah, it's got me intrigued, man. Gotta get that HBO Go. I might do the Hulu package now. They've offered some kind of deal with HBO as well.
That's cool that you're able to add that on now. It kind of makes it worth it, especially Game of Thrones once that comes back. Westworld is now back as well. So
Westworld is good.
I would also suggest Silicon Valley. They're doing some funny stuff as well.
I'm starting The Sopranos right now. I've never seen it. I'm starting it right now, man, and getting into it.
Nice.
You know, I've got to say I'm enjoying it. So check out that HBO passes, you know, whether it's Hulu or HBO Go.
Right, and if you can get on it, be sure to check out Barry.
Hell yeah, I will be. Now, I've chosen a Netflix original special, and it's called Everything Sucks. And, you know, this show reminds me a lot of Freaks and Geeks, and we were talking about that off air. And it's a good casting. It's a bunch of young actors and actresses. It's an American comedy drama web. It started out like on the web apparently, and it's created by Ben York-Jones and Michael Mohan. And it's just like, you know, it's teen culture in the mid 1990s, and it conquers, you know, different teens, you know, dealing with issues such as like their sexuality or their mental health and growing up in general.
Okay, and, I feel like this would speak to like our generation specifically, having grown up in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I found like interesting was a lot of the references and the songs, and you know, it felt right. They did a good job of putting it in the time placement of the 90s, which I always enjoy when they nail the scenario. And this all occurs in Boring High School in Oregon, which is an actual place, Boring, Oregon, in 1996. And it's an AV club and the drama club. And they're, both groups are the misfits of the high school, which is, it's pretty neat, the storyline they bring out from it. And I thoroughly found myself enjoying this. And recently, I found myself pretty upset because I found out it's canceled.
Oh, no!
Earlier this month, they canceled it, and it's not going to get a second season. But we all know how that goes. If the fans get behind it, which it has a lot of fans, and I think it's going to fall into the cult following type deal once, people start realizing, it's worth watching. We might get that second season as long as the kids don't age too much.
Yeah, true. That would be kind of tough to bring it back a couple of years later unless you got a different cast.
Yeah, so it all depends on if this thing blows up in the next year or not. But I mean, I really enjoyed it, and it's got a solid rating across the board, 7.7 on IMDb. Even Rotten Tomatoes, they weren't too harsh on it. I mean, they gave it a 69%, but I mean, they're fucking stingy fucks when it comes to ratings.
Right.
And audience score was 90%.
Well,
so,
this had a higher audience score than Barry had, and they gave Barry a higher tomato meter score.
The tomato meter is fucked.
Yeah.
It always has been, always will be.
I was covering it just to be see how off it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always drastic compared to the IMDb or the audience score.
Right?
Yeah. But, I really enjoyed this. It's, right on the Netflix, and everybody has Netflix these days. If not, try to find a buddy or, somebody that has it.
Throw someone a couple bucks for that extra screen.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's worth it. You'll find little gems like this.
Well, that's perfect. I'm definitely going to check it out, even though it's only one season. It's kind of tough, but I like blowing through some of those.
Yeah, 10 episodes, it'll entertain your time. It's half hour, so, it's 5 hours of entertainment.
Oh, that's perfect. So be sure to check out Everything Sucks on Netflix and Barry on HBO, and get out to the theaters. Take your sweetheart out to go see Super Troopers 2.
Hell yeah, it's a fun time.
Now, before we get into our technology segment, let's hear something from the Believer Skeptic podcast.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm the Believer.
I'm Cody. I'm the Skeptic.
And together we are BSP, the Idiosyncrasy Files.
The podcast where two idiots discuss weird phenomena. This week we're talking about ghosts.
I believe in ghosts.
Why?
There's too much weird stuff in the world for it to be coincidental.
See, I don't, because ghosts are souls, and shirts, pants, and jockstraps do not have souls. These ghosts should be naked.
My jockstrap has a soul.
Moving on. Join us every week where we talk about cool phenomena ranging from
skinwalkers
to
simulacra.
There you go. Bye! Find us on Google Play, iTunes, and all those other podcasting places. Or visit us at www.bspodphx.com.
Technology.
Alrighty, and we're back. It's time for some technology.
We all know you love to know what's going on in the tech world, and we always got to start out with our boy Elon. See what Musk is up about, or all about.
Musky Musk, baby.
Musking about. And, the big thing at Tesla right now is the Model 3.
Yeah, man.
They're trying to crank out production on these things so that everyone can get them, because right now the wait list is pretty long.
Yeah, man. And I mean, it makes sense. It's the first really affordable model of the Tesla, So everybody's got to have it. And I mean, it's only you put $1,000 down and you pick out your custom, the little pieces that you want in your car too. So that's pretty nice. You just put $1,000 down and you get a brand new car that's starting to be made for you, and then you take your payments down, which is pretty cool for a nice electric car.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got the chance to go over to a Tesla dealership earlier. People were, sitting down in the Model 3s, and there was actually a line for people to check them out.
Oh, yeah, I bet, man. It's awesome that they actually have models on the ground now that you can see.
I will say, I didn't stand in line. I just kind of walked in and then peered in from across the velvet rope. And it looked like just a very basic dashboard with an iPad plopped in the center.
Yeah, I've noticed that from the concept as well, and it seems like it's a pretty simple form of any of the Teslas, and that's how they're keeping it at that $30,000 price range,
Right. And I will say, the front of it almost reminds me of a Volkswagen Beetle, like one of the newer ones.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit edgier and maybe a little bit longer, but it kind of had that same sort of shape to it.
That roundness to the front almost?
Yep. I was like, wow, that looks like a Beetle. That's really odd.
Yeah, I can't draw, like, in my mind the concept. I haven't seen it in a while for the Model 3. It's like, but yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be a little different than, your typical Teslas.
And, there's a lot of demand for them, no matter what they look like. And there's been backups at the Tesla Model 3 production line because robots. Humans are underrated, says Musk.
Yeah, man. I mean, robots malfunction. They're limited to whatever task they're told to do. They can't deal with variables as well as a human can.
Yeah, Musk tweeted out on April 13th that excessive automation at Tesla was a mistake, and to be precise, his mistake. Humans are underrated. So he's been spending a lot of time at the production line since the beginning of April. He's been spending nights there in order to, implement changes that'll hopefully smooth out some of these production failures or errors that have been happening.
Yeah, I actually even heard there's like a crowdfunding for fucking Elon Musk to get a couch at the Tesla factory because he's been sleeping on the floor.
Oh, no, he has a couch in the conference room that he's sleeping on. Don't worry, people.
Is that bullshit?
You do not have to give Elon Musk your money for a couch.
Wait, so we don't have to donate to the trillionaire that owns Tesla?
I'd say that's a bad waste of your money. He wants you to buy a Model 3 instead.
You heard it here, people. You heard what Jesse said.
Don't give him your money. So he also, a little update, he said he did like a little April Fool's joke in the beginning of April saying like, oh, they're going bankrupt. He says in a comment that he wouldn't joke about bankruptcy if it was even remotely real for the company.
Yeah, he'd go ghost on social media.
So there you go. That's a little bit about the Tesla factory and what's going on with Musk over there.
Oh yeah. What would it be without Musk in our technology segment? And I mean, we're only continuing on from there, which will go to the Boring Company, which nothing's boring about this company at all.
Not based in Boring, Oregon.
No, it's not based in Boring, Oregon. Oregon. We've gotten
Organs
before on the show. I don't know. Organs? Gorgons? Wait, what?
I just say it like, parts of the body, organ.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Well, the Boring Company is unveiled its fourth plan for a route of the Hyperloop. And this one is mapped DC to Baltimore. And they've got the go-ahead, which is pretty cool, man. They're going to get these things operational. Whereas, this is only a 35-mile trip. But still, it's only going to take 15 minutes, and it's going to be an ease of use compared to the subways or the highways. The parkway takes a long time to get down. You're talking triple the amount of time easily if there's no traffic.
Yeah, and that's a big corridor for traffic, too, especially, into D.C.
Yeah, exactly, man. Right into the nation's capital. And it's cool to see this, man. I mean, these little tests are going to be what changes the future as far as transit is concerned. I mean, if we can get these Hyperloops active under the ground and he can bore without actually fucking up the infrastructure of the cities and towns above that, I mean, why the fuck not, dude? Especially in cities like New York City and Los Angeles. I mean, fuck. We need to alleviate this traffic somehow, and I mean, this is the only guy that seems to be doing anything about it.
With LA, I do get a little earthquake worried.
I do get that too, yeah, man. And I mean, I've heard, the whole thing about the water going into it too as well, which is fucking scary. You don't want to drown in a Hyperloop tunnel.
No, thank you.
But maybe fucking Elon Musk is ahead of everything. Maybe he's got some type of drainage system, the vacuum system that pulls water out, I mean, I'm sure this is a guy that's not just thinking about one way of it. I'm sure he's considering some of the aspects as far as, the natural environment with earthquakes or floods or this or that,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much. It depends, where you're digging it and stuff like that. And I'm sure planning-wise, yeah, he's got that route figured out. It'd be cool if they got one of these up and running on the East Coast.
Man, I would love this. And, I was just in Baltimore last year for a festival. And, shit, I would, after the first fucking couple thousand tests, I would take one of these.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I've been on crazier roller coasters, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, fucking going on an airplane, I mean, it's it's the same thing, you know? I mean, as long as it's been tested. I know the science isn't nearly as tested on a Hyperloop as an airplane, but an airplane's up in the air, Hyperloop's in the ground. I don't know. It still feels safer to me.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for commute, so.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Now, technology is looking to help us out on our commute and in a lot of other ways. Like how Samsung is trying to help eliminate that big, ugly black screen just sitting in your living room.
Yeah, you know, that TV, when you turn it off.
We're talking about that turned off TV, you know?
Yeah.
For the existence of televisions, we've had to deal with a blank screen sitting and taking up valuable wall space or corner space of our living rooms. And Samsung's looking to change this by being able to blend your TV into your wall and even make it into artwork.
Ooh, okay. Just make it an incognito TV.
Yeah, they're revealing the pricing on their QLED range of TVs this year, and they have an ambient mode that blends it into the wall and creates a slim border on the outside of the TV to make it almost look like a framed piece of art.
Okay, that's pretty nice, man. I mean, it is, you know, a TV does stand out. You know, whether it's on your dresser or a TV stand, whatever it's in, you know, the bedroom or the living room. It would be cool if it masked itself and it was like, oh, you don't own any TVs? It's like, no, hold on. Whoop. That fucking mirror or piece of hardware just flips into fucking Netflix.
Right? And the way this works is before you put the TV up, you take a picture of the wall. And then when you upload that to its like ambient mode, it copies that to make it look as if there's nothing
chameleon.
There.
It pulls a chameleon. That's cool. Okay.
Now these don't come cheap. I will say that. Their QLED range TVs start from $1,499 for a 55-inch to a large sum of $6,000 for the 75-inch.
It's crazy how that 20 inches, man, makes such a gap.
Yeah, right? I wonder like what the in-betweens look like, how that jumps up in terms of size.
Yeah, as you started out, I was like, oh, you know, that's cheaper than I was expecting. I thought you were going to come out with something crazy like, you know, a $7,000 TV for a 55. I mean, that's not too bad. In your living room, where you're going to have guests, you know, and you want to keep something nice and you want to keep your living room looking good. I can see that.
Or if you can get the last year's model next year, or Black Friday sales.
Black Friday. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a few years before you catch any of these incognito chameleon TVs on the Black Friday deal.
Possibly. And now, to make a distinction, people might not know, before I said that these are QLED TVs, there's OLED, which you may have heard about before, which is organic LED. QLED is quantum dot LEDs. Now these use a varying size to produce different colors. The smallest is blue and the largest is red, and it boosts efficiency and precision for color reproduction.
Damn, they're always finding ways to make it more vibrant for you.
And I guess the higher end models use a direct full array to adjust backlighting to deliver deeper blacks, but this is different from the OLED, which delivers true black. So with your shadows, your contrast, that kind of thing, you're seeing a lot deeper tones with the OLED, as opposed to a QLED, which is simulating black by messing with the backlighting.
Yeah, and you get that contrasted black, which is more of a gray.
I'll tell you though, human eyes probably won't be able to tell the difference. If you have either one of these, if it's a matter of a couple $100, like, go with your heart desires, really.
Yeah, I mean, LED these days is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
You can snag a 55 for $500 easily. That's going to be a smart TV and definitely beautiful on the eyes.
Right.
You know.
So keep a lookout for these. It seems like they're just innovating more and more with televisions.
Yeah, it makes me excited for the future, you know. 10 years down the road is where we'll see the real progression of this. That's where all TVs will adapt this if it succeeds as a technology thing. Like if it, you know, like the chameleon TV idea catches on. Anyway.
True.
You know, it'll be cool to see how this plays out. I'm always curious. Maybe you can catch these bad boys, order them online. You just go to the Amazon, fucking get that chameleon TV delivered right to your door.
There you go.
But man, the thing about getting that delivered to your door is you got to worry about some scumbag just showing up and being like, "That's a big Amazon box, man." You know what comes in big Amazon boxes? Good shit.
Awesome
And they
TVs.
they steal your $1,500 to $6,000 TV, just like that. Well, not anymore, because if you got a jumbo-sized van, they'll deliver that shit right to your van. That's what Amazon's coming up with nowadays. And it's an awesome system and ideas to combat, the idea of people being able to steal your shit and just to have a more secure way of actually getting your products from Amazon. Now, this is something that's starting out in about 37 cities in the US. And you have to get this $220 package that's basically a combination of an internet-connected door lock and camera to allow Amazon delivery drivers to place these packages inside of your actual car.
Oh, okay.
Now, and it'll coincide with, whatever you have to have a smart car, I'd imagine. Because what it seems like is you have to have something like GM's OnStar or maybe like Volvo's AGs. Volkswagen has shit, Honda has shit.
Right.
There's all these smart devices in the newer cars. And apparently you're going to have that to actually do it. So you're not going to be able to deliver it to the 86 Honda, I'm sorry if you got the 86 Accord.
Just, I left the window cracked. Just fit your arm in there and fucking...
I'm not sure if they're going to abide by that, but, we'll see. You can write them. I mean, Amazon's pretty cool about that shit. Now, the cool thing, you got to pay out that $220, but after that, you're allowed you get free delivery for that.
Oh, wow.
So you pay that, and you're going to get free in-car delivery, probably just like your Prime. So, it'll be a free service, 2-day, right to your car. You tell them where the car is, the license plate, the color, make, model type deal. And they'll just drop it right at your fucking car while you're at work, man, instead of having to worry, is that shit at home when I get home? Oh, it didn't come today, although it said it was going to come on Saturday. Did somebody take this shit, or did UPS make a mistake? Yeah, because then you got to write the fucking seller or, Amazon and try to recoup your money or get the product again. It's a pain in the dick, man. You never want to have to worry about that, even if it's once in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So something like this, it's pretty cool to see. It's an advancement in technology as far as delivery is concerned.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a way more secure way of doing it than just leaving a QLED TV outside. Now, what if it won't fit? That's what I wonder. Like a giant 75-inch TV.
Yeah, I'm wondering. They've got to establish some laws and rules rather to concern things like that. Like if you're getting a giant product, if you're gonna we covered that ridiculous ass 10-foot tall giraffe. You're not gonna get that fucking delivered to your fucking.
It's I don't know how he did it, but he got it in my car. I can't drive home like this.
Listen, I want the shit returned. That giraffe's neck is broken. He's never standing the right way again.
Well, we're continuing talking about Amazon and their future idea of making a working home robot version of their Amazon Echo.
Ooh, I love the Echo.
You and I both have Alexa.
Mm-hmm. She's nice.
We have mixed feelings about her. I think.
She's an alright assistant, based on the fact that she's free.
I ask her to translate things for me, and she just says them back the same way I said them.
Yep.
Which is a little frustrating.
With an attitude. With an attitude. I will say that. I will say there's a slight attitude.
Don't think I can't hear that little bit of fucking tone.
You better change your tone, Alexa. That's all I've got to say.
She's going to start yelling back at you. If Amazon has their way, you'll have a little Alexas running around your rooms by 2019 because they're looking to build some sort of home version of a robot that, has the Echo's brains inside of it.
Man, that scares me because, we all, as we're saying, how she reacts in general. You give her a body to empower, now I'm a little concerned.
She's going to start tipping shit over when you yell at her for giving you the wrong info.
Yeah. That's not very nice. And she just slides your TV off the fucking TV stand.
That's not very nice, Alexa, you piece of shit.
What the fuck? You better order me a new one on the house.
Now, it is to be said that some of these ideas, they get put out there and they'll be in development for a bit and then they'll kind of get scrapped. So this may or may not happen, but projected 2019, they're hoping to have something on shelves. Well, Amazon shelves and then in boxes and then in your trunk, I guess.
That's crazy. Maybe that robot will go get your fucking packages from your trunk for you.
That's what I'm kind of unclear about, is what exactly is this thing going to be able to do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe is it gonna have home use, like, you know, go get me a drink from the fridge, or is it like all about, like, you know, maybe coincided with like lights and Roombas?
It's gonna shake your beer when it gets it for you.
Oh, you fucking piece of shit. Man, you never saw that Simpsons episode where the shaken beer really fucked Homer up and sent him to the hospital?
No, I never saw that one.
You never saw it?
I was just trying to think about, wasn't there like some robot toy when we were a kid that you could get that would like come bring you drinks and shit?
That stupid white one that was like remote controlled.
It
bullshit.
looked kind of like a Short Circuit.
Yeah. And there was an ape one that went along with the same company.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
They
There was like
used
a
to try
monkey
and hawk
robot.
these robots at us in the 90s all the time.
They didn't get your drink from the fridge.
No, that was only in the commercials.
Tripped over the carpet, man. As soon as he went from hardwood to carpet, he was fucked.
And one bad fall and that thing was busted.
Yep, done. Well, wrapping up this technology segment, we've got something to talk about. You guys have probably heard the Golden State Killer has been caught. It's crazy to see these serial killers that have been active, and they finally get caught before they're fucking gone and wiped off the earth.
Also known as the East Area Rapist, or the, what was it, original Night Stalker, I believe, or something?
Yeah, and active from the years of 1976 to 86. Accused of killing a dozen women and raping 46. Which is fucking ridiculous, man. I'm sorry, 1978 to 86. I messed that up. It wasn't 76 to 86.
Okay.
Now, one of the craziest things about this whole scenario is that how they brought him down was that they tapped into a DNA database that was involved with one of those genealogy sites, such as Ancestry.com.
Really?
Now, which is crazy, man. And I mean, I was recently at a grocery store, and I saw there's tons of kits you can buy right at the store now.
Oh,
you take a swab. Yeah, you take a swab of your mouth and you send it out to the company, and they link your DNA. They look it up and they see, like, you know, where your active DNA strands are hitting from. You know, what they react to, like country-wise or region-wise rather.
Okay.
And all of that. Now, the Californian police departments decided to tap into these industries, and they used it to track down a bunch of males that had the same, you know, age group to fit the profile of the killer.
Okay.
And that's where they narrowed it down so much. And they actually stumbled across a hit. And they fucking linked a piece of evidence from fucking 30, 40 years ago to a relative of this guy. And it's
That's
craziness. Insane. Yeah, man, out of all things, to bring somebody down, a serial killer from decades ago, is just a piece of DNA. And now there's a lot of concern for this, because it's kind of like a violation too at the same time, because the actual company didn't release the actual evidence. They kind of tapped in to the actual archive of their DNA.
Okay.
So it's a weird instance at the same time. It's almost like a violation of, like,
is it legal,
that relative.
is it not?
Yeah, like it's like they caught a killer, which I mean is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they tapped in illegally to a database of DNA. It's not like, you know, like when you're a criminal and you commit like a felony or a misdemeanor even, you might have to give DNA to the actual DA, and it's put on file in case you ever commit a real serious crime, so they can easily track you as a criminal. And that's a different story when it comes to, like, you're just trying to figure out your fucking identity as a person.
True. So now we don't know if the company that was collecting the DNA just gave it to them. This was actually just tapped into.
See, here's the thing: is like one of the companies. It was multiple companies apparently were tapped into. Okay. One company was GED Match, in which one of the CEOs came out and said they weren't approached by law enforcement or anything about this case, but they know that they were used. Their database was used.
Oh, wow.
And they gave, like, kind of a formal release saying, like, we didn't have anything to do with this, but our database was used in the law enforcement's apprehension of this killer.
I wonder if that's one of those, like, fine print type of things, like in the terms of service agreements or something.
Yeah, that's what it's got me thinking too, man. It's like, as far as I would think, that's illegal, but I mean,
Well,
what if there's
know-
something in the terms?
I know, like, Verizon will say we're not going to release your information except to, like, advertising shit and stuff like that, or law enforcement if there's any sort of crime. I wonder if it's something along those lines, where it's like, oh, you know, we're running this against a crime database.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, but it makes me sketched out with the whole release of the press, too, from the CEO. But who knows,
True.
man? And it's a weird incident altogether, but hey, I mean...
Glad he
did
got
end
caught,
up-
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, especially when there is serial killers out there that have been active and we clearly can trace their crimes, and they're running amok.
So serial killers, please make sure to trace your DNA. You want to know what you're susceptible to in terms of diseases and stuff like that. Just make sure you're do like 4 of them. Why not? Fuck it.
Oh yeah, man. You might think you're Italian, but who knows? You could be Egyptian.
Yeah, you never know. And you want to get multiple results. That way you're in multiple databases.
Yes,
catch your ass.
Definitely. Not to catch your ass. No, that's
no.
that's
I mean,
not
sorry.
one. No.
Yeah, I misspoke.
Yeah, be careful with that. Well, this seems like the end of the show. I think it's about that time. I think we step
Definitely
into
is.
Plug City. Plug City, bitch. Well, if you guys wanted to check us out, stop by the Facebook page, American Slacker Podcast. You can also check out the American Slackers group, where there's a bunch of slackers just like you, putting out all kind of hooliganism type posts that are fucking entertaining as fuck. So check it out. Also stop by the Instagram, American Slacker Podcast. You'll find the promos for each and every show. And the website, the main hub, AmericanSlackerPodcast.com, ASPodcast.com, whichever you prefer.
You can also find us over on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast. All of our episodes also go up on YouTube. We have a brand new playlist up there with all of our guest episodes. So if you only want to listen to us doing interviews with people and you're not into the bizarre news or something, you can head over there and get your fill on that. There's over a dozen, almost over 2 dozen now, so make sure to check it out. You can also rate and review the show. That's a big help to us. 5 stars or nothing is all we ask. And please also tell a friend about the show. If you guys are talking podcasts, be like, hey, I got one you can check out, American Slacker Podcast. Big thank you also to anyone watching the live stream. Dave Gunn, you've been talking to us through this whole thing, giving us your 2 cents. We really appreciate you doing that. And big shout out. This Instagram live shout out goes to you there.
Oh, I like that. Individualized. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's a fun time, and we love when we get to talk to you guys on the live stream.
Absolutely.
It's really fun. And if you guys wanted to get in contact with us, send us an email, AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. It's an easy way to get in contact with us if you have any questions or concerns, any of that shit. Also, stop by the Spotify, search American Slacker Podcast. You'll find a playlist with all the artists we've featured, their music on the show. Some we've even had on the show. You know, check out their music, and there's a fucking array of wonderful artists to have you jamming out in no time.
You can also help out the show by becoming a Patreon slacker. Head over to our Patreon account. Give us a little bit of monetary donation, and in return you get some extra bonus content, some shout outs on the show. Plan on putting more and more up there as this goes on. You can also check out our shop at americanslackerpodcast.bigcartel.com.
And last, if you want to check me out on my Instagram, MWG Media, and if you wanted to play some games with me on Xbox Live, Matty G from HP.
You'll find me on Instagram and Xbox at Landers the Plane.
Alrighty, people, thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we love every one of you. And until next time, that's it.
There you go.